Hey guys, in this video I would like to share some AI courses I took, some recommendations from me, and the only qualification I have to do this is that I'm a beginner myself. So these courses are a beginner's choice, and they should basically just teach you the basic fundamentals, which they did. They helped me a lot to grasp the fundamentals, to grasp some core concepts within the field. And the video itself should just encourage you to take up maybe some of them to start your own journey into ML, AI, or whatever other technical area there is. And I hope you have fun. So yeah, let's get started. So the first course I would like to show you is, of course, one of the evergreens when it comes to beginners friendly machine learning courses. In Coursera, it's the machine learning specialization from Deep Learning AI in collaboration with Stanford University by Andrew Ning. And let's just jump into the course. So it's beginner level, which so I actually got the course was recommended to me by a good friend. I was not that familiar when I started out with these kind of courses. It consists of 3 course series, so it's divided into 3 series. I will get to that later on. And yeah, it takes around 3 weeks. And just to mention it at the beginning, the course is pretty intense. So you will learn a lot, but it may also be required from you to revisit the course after a while or to work on other fundamentals. But when we see the course program, I will explain that a little bit better. So if we go to the series, so the course is divided into 3 sections. It's the supervised machine learning section, which includes like regression and classification, which is the bread and butter of a lot of machine learning algorithms and machine learning problems as well. So it's very good that they start out with that. Then you have advanced learning algorithms. So for example, to train a neural network. Andrew Ning also explains what a neural network is, what a neuron is in the sense of computer science, and how to train a neuron and how they developed and so on. So it also gives a lot of background information to this. And then in the last section, you have the unsupervised learning, which includes recommenders. So for example, the Netflix recommender, right? So that it proposes you a Netflix series based on what you have watched in the past. So it kind of, how does a computer system work that is actually aware of what you might like or what you don't like. And then reinforcement learning. So if I remember correctly, the backbone of this is that you work with rewards and punishment to actually make the system do what you want them to do. So he will explain this in more detail. And just to go shortly into it so that you have a better idea of what the course will teach you, it's, I mean, some of you might already have done, might have already done some Coursera courses, so it's always starting out with the theory, with the background, and then you have to solve quizzes, and it's not different here. So you have, as you can see in the first course, you start out with linear regression to understand what it actually is, and what's the background, and also what is the mathematical background behind linear regression or other machine learning models. And if we click into here, let's just take this one, and this is just to showcase you that what the content might look like. So it is beginner friendly, yes, but it's also I would say it's a requirement to be familiar with mathematical notations. I mean, Andrew will guide you through what this means, but it's also very helpful for you to get the maximum out of the course, to be familiar with some mathematical concepts, mathematical foundations, notations as well, so that you understand that this is a sum and okay, you have some difference in here, so, and this is like divided by another factor, and what's the result of this. This is just for you to get a better understanding what is the algorithm actually doing, and then you can better follow the explanations of Andrew. Because I personally, I mean, I'm not a mathematician, I'm also not a computer scientist, and I had troubles in the beginning to understand what he was actually talking about, and therefore I also had troubles in solving the assignments. I mean, I will get to that later, but there are other courses which like help you train that, so that you can get the maximum out of courses like this if you are unsure with the math behind it, or if you, yeah, I mean, if you're not able to read an equation right that like that. So I'm still struggling with that, but I think I got better at this because there were other courses that teach you that better. But also in this course, it's forcing you to implement these kind of algorithms yourself, so that the concepts really stick. And I like that a lot about this course. But this also makes the course a little bit more challenging than maybe other courses. So if you're in for a quick success feeling, then it's like maybe not for you. But if you're in here to really understand the basics and the background from it, also when it comes to mathematical backgrounds and background information, then this course is definitely right for you, and it can help you a big chunk with your starting point. And this is really a great starting point to see what these kind of problems and solutions in machine learning might look like, and how you get to them, and how it really works. So I can highly recommend this course. This was my first course I completed. But for me, for someone, I mean, I'm not a computer scientist, I'm not a statistician, I don't have a mathematical background from my university. So for me, it was, I was kind of jumping into cold waters, so to say. And I would recommend to get familiar with the math if you're not, and then start this course. It's just more beneficial for you knowledge-wise. Okay, then the second course is more based on, since you are a beginner in the field of, you might be a beginner in the field of machine learning or data science, or also computer science in general, like me. So I never coded, right? So I never coded. I had no idea how to write code, how to write functional code, and also the thinking patterns of coding, in the sense that, okay, if you have a solution to present, how do you actually code this into a program? And then I found this course on Udemy, 100 Days of Code, the Complete Python Pro Bootcamp. And this course is really what I was looking for. So it starts out with like the really, really basics of Python. How does, variables, understanding data types, strings, lists, how do you organize a program, the flow, the logic, loops, whatsoever. So you really find every aspect of Python in here. And what I liked the most is, so when I took courses at university, a lot of these courses were very, very theoretical, in the sense that I was just like in there as a guest. I didn't study computer science, but I was just in there as a guest. And they explained like some aspect of programming. And then it was like, okay, I now know what a loop is for, or how a loop should be constructed. But can I actually code a loop? So like, can you show me an example? Where do I need to use a loop? And this course really does a very good job in this, in that sense that you have 100 days, and every day ends with a practical project, a little small project after every day, that you can also use as for your GitHub, for your portfolio. And this is like the biggest plus point I have for this course. I mean, besides that the teacher, like I think it's Angela, Dr. Angela, and she really explains the concepts very well and in a very friendly, encouraging way. And I like this course a lot. I mean, I think it costs around, I don't know, $20 on Udemy. And once you have it, you can just go through it. Um, and you can also skip the parts if you already know some of those. But these capstone projects, little hands-on projects, these are really, this is so great. This is really so great, and it really helps you to make very fast progress, and it also gives you a certain sense of accomplishment, right? So you understood what you do, and this is very important for the learning part. Of course, the projects are not for free, so you need to put in some work. You may need some help from ChatGPT or from Stack Overflow, but the courses really help you to understand the work of as a programmer, and they help you implement the logic and the thinking patterns and so on. So I really cannot stress that enough. This course is really absolutely great for learning Python, and Python is like one of the cornerstones if you want to make data science projects, or if you apply for machine learning roles or data science roles. This Python needs to be in your skill set, and this course really covers everything to get from there and also work on your own projects. So very highly recommended to book this course to make you a Python pro. So then I have another course for you, which might be very helpful to start your machine learning, AI, programming journey or Python journey, whatever your interest is. And this is the Machine Learning Scientist in Python track from DataCamp. It is a little bit more costly than the ones from Coursera or the one of Udemy. I think it cost me around $130, but I must say it's really worth the time and it's really worth the money, because in here, like let's say for example the machine learning specialization on Coursera, you implement certain aspects of the algorithm yourself, which is very helpful to understand how it works. But in here, for this career track course, it's really hands-on. So you really have to code all along the lines. And so also the coverage, it really covers, I mean, look at this. I mean, I'm on this course for like, I don't know, 2 months, and I'm 2 or 3 months, and I'm still not even close to be finished. I mean, it covers everything, and even in the end, you can also all put together and take part in a Kaggle competition. And it really covers all the aspects of a machine learning pipeline or workflow. So from supervised learning, predictive models, linear classifiers, boosts, trees, decision trees, gradient boosting, all the concepts that are relevant and important to understand when it comes to machine learning or data science projects, is really all in here. And to give you an example, I mean, you can just practice these if you have already finished those, but you don't remember the things. And so, for example, let's just start one, and then you can just train the basics again. I mean, of course, here it's from the first chapter, I need to revise them myself, but just to give you an idea of how the course is structured. So you start out with a theoretical video, and after the video, maybe we can have a look at this. So if you go into the course, you can have the chapter details here. So for example, it starts out with a video, always, to explain you the concepts which you will learn. Then you can click on got it, and then you code yourself. Every lesson has this kind of division between the theory video and then you code yourself what you just heard about. Of course, you have help to explain like what is the goal of your coding and so on. But this is how the course is structured, and I think it's. I mean, I must be honest. It's a lot of content. So it's really a lot of content. I mean, you see this, and every one of these subsections is already divided again into like 10 other subsections, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. But this course is really aimed for you to complete at your own pace, and it. I mean, I would say, I mean, I got it recommended from a friend who works in the machine learning field, and he really says that this course covers like almost everything you need to know at least. I mean, of course, if you prepare for interviews or so, it may be still too superficial, but I think for me as a beginner and for me as someone interested in the topic, it really gives a good understanding of what you're actually able to do with these kind of algorithms and the coding and so on. And to explain it to me theoretically in a video and then asking me for completing the tasks myself, this is really helpful for my learning. Depending on what kind of learning type you are, you might find these helpful as well, but you can always revise, you can always redo the exercises to really make the concept stick. And it really guides you from model selection, model evaluation, data cleaning, data processing, pipeline creating, so you name it. So it's really one of the most complete courses I found, and yeah, highly recommended as well for beginners, because it's really beginner friendly and the approach is really beginner friendly. So yeah, highly recommend it to do it and to continue your journey. Yeah. So I would not recommend to do all these courses I presented at once, because that can be a little bit too much. But there is also no specific order in how you want to do those, because you may be very familiar with Python, then you can skip the one from Udemy unless you want to revise something. But then you, on the other hand, you might be very well equipped with knowledge about unsupervised learning, but you don't know a lot about supervised learning, which is highly unlikely but possible. So you can just go to this course, or you can go to the course from Andrew Ning. It's just these courses help me a lot to understand to get a basic understanding of how does an actual machine learning workflow actually look like. Okay, last but not least, I have the course for you I promised, which helped me to understand like how do you actually implement mathematical notations, mathematical concepts, and mathematical equations and so ever into TensorFlow, NumPy, PyTorch, whatsoever. And this course is by Dr. John Krohn, which covers like all the aspects that are relevant for machine learning, especially linear algebra and matrices, derivatives and so on. And also like integral calculus, I'm not there yet, but for classifications, for linear regressions, for multi-class classifications and so on, tensors, everything you need to know to understand the basic background for a lot of machine learning algorithms, and you implement them also in PyTorch, and then you have an idea of how that looks like. And this, I found this very helpful to just refresh your mathematical understanding, or learn new concepts, or if you are like me who has no mathematical background and needed to really kneel into these kind of concepts, then this course might be for you to just equip you with the knowledge to actually take on the other courses and get the maximum out of them, to that you don't have to revise, okay, how does a matrix look like, or how do I multiply matrices, so that these things are just coming natural to you and you can concentrate on the other contents of the course. But this is just a little extra to maybe back up the other courses, and just to tell you from a from a mathematical noob, what kind of course might be very helpful for this understanding. Okay, that was it with the video. I hope you had fun. I hope it was helpful for you to decide if you want to take up one of those courses yourself. And I wish you all the best for your learning journey. And if you liked the video, just leave me a comment. If you didn't like the video, also leave me a comment for further improvements. And see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.